Hey guys, this is Clay with Texas Know How. Well, we got some really pretty weather today. The sun's out, it's about 58 to 60 degrees, something like that. And after all the snow that we've had, I thought I'd get out here and do something else on the Land Cruiser. So what's been going on with this one lately is the throttle pedal's been kind of sticky right at the top. So just as I start to give it gas at a stop sign or something, it's kind of hard, a little bit hard to push. And then it kind of gets past that and it kind of jumps a little bit, and then it's in a normal range, kind of normal slickety. Got to looking at this throttle cable underneath the dash here, and the pedal itself is kind of loose. So it's in a pivot right up there. You can see where it's bolted on with 2 bolts in that white part. So I'm going to take the pedal off and look at that little pivot point. But I went ahead and got a new cable. This is the new one here, and it cost me 118 bucks at the Toyota dealership in their parts department. But I thought I'd go ahead and pay it. I mean, this is something you probably don't replace but once in a lifetime of a vehicle, maybe twice if you went to 300K or something like that. But if you look here, I've got this cable is really worn. It's been kind of getting in the heat and all the sheathing is coming off. And when that happens, all of this area right here can let in little grit and grime. When that happens, then the internal cable starts to wear. So this could be my culprit right here, is the cable itself might be binding up right at the beginning of the pull. Now just to check it, what I did do was I came right up here where the cable goes into the sheath, or into its outer jacket, and I pulled this little rubber thing back and I shot some lube up in there. And I did that right here in place. I can still feel the silicone lube I used on this cable, but it didn't seem to help it out much. So I thought, let's just replace it. I mean, this is probably the original cable, and I kind of like going back with the OEM part. So I'm going to get in here. There's 2 screws that hold this thing to the firewall on the inside, and they're right here behind the brake master cylinder. Kind of hard to see down in there, but this cable goes in there and punches through the wall, and it's got a little seal on it. Actually, I can just show you here on the new one. So I haven't taken this out. Does that show right there? Yeah. So that little bracket right there is what's going to screw to the wall of the firewall here. This side's going to stay inside with the throttle pedal, and this side here has the adjustments that you see out there under the hood. So I'll get that out of there, I'll start installing that, and we'll go from there. I'm going to take this opportunity now that it's nice and clean to get all this junk and crap. You see almonds and different things I've been doing in here eating. So all the dirt, I got my rigid shop vac. I really like that shop vac. I'm going to hook that thing up and just take advantage of this beautiful weather. And you can see right there though, still some snow piled up that we pushed off the driveway back 3 or 4 days ago. So just now getting back to kind of a warmer climate, which has been kind of nice. Let's get after this. Alright, this is my cable. Comes all wound up, and camcorder's flashing at me over there. What's it saying? I think I'm low on the battery. Yeah, it's definitely saying I'm low on the battery there, guys. Let's see how far we can go on this, and we might have to change the battery out. But you can see there, here's that bracket that's going to go up against my firewall, and the rest of it has like a little kind of a nut on it everywhere it's held under the hood on a bracket. It's kind of interesting. So everywhere under the hood that it has a bracket, it has one of those little nuts. So this will lay right in here like this. Replace that one. We'll have it just exactly like the old one. So I'm going to work the other one out first, and then we'll put this one in, and I'll adjust this to be just exactly like the one I have, so my slack will be the same. So we'll lay that here. Alright, I got my ratchets and stuff. I'm going to go underneath there and take those 2 screws off that are holding that pedal first, and then I'll get the 2 screws that are holding the cable. Each one just has 2 kind of bolts on it. Alright, once you get your pedal off, go ahead and go take it off of the carburetor so that the cable can slip this way and give you some slack to get that off your pedal, okay? You guys remember jazzercise? Well, these are kind of like step exercise benches that belong to my wife. But I use them for the truck. They help me a lot with this lifted truck. You gotta put these things around where you can kind of get up on them like this and shut that so you can see. Just move the carb a little. I mean the throttle bracket. Now see, on this end, I'll be able just to let this whole thing slip in like that. And that'll give me room underneath the dash in there to unhook that off of the pedal so I can actually see what's going on. Alright, so what I did was I unhooked this cable. Everywhere you see one of these little nuts, like I was saying, it's hooked on something in here to kind of curve it around to the carburetor. So I've got them all unhooked all the way underneath by the power booster for the brakes. And what I'm going to do now is you need a helper. I'm laying this thing out straight, but what you're going to do is go underneath. I poked it. After I got those 2 screws off of the top of it, I just poked it through the firewall. But it's not going to feed easy, so I'm going to get somebody to kind of help me hold it here, and we'll feed it out, and then I'm going to feed the new one back in. So I'm going to go around here and do that, and you guys hold it right there, Connor. And let it come through. Help me kind of wiggle it through. Keep coming. Hanging. Alright, so this is the cable with the bracket on it right here that holds right here, and the gas, and this is the actual gas pedal. So now what we're going to do is, come here and I'll show you how this comes off of here. There's a little plastic, so this cable is free to slip like this, and the reason why is because if the cruise control is controlling the carb, that cable is going like this and your gas pedal just sits still. So the cruise control is taking over. So then what you need to do is, there's a little plastic bracket right here. If you can see with my fingers, I'm going to poke it through. See that? And then it comes out of there. So now we've got that. Okay. And I need to feed this bracket off. So it's next. Comes off like that. Now this cable is exactly like the new one. So we're going to lay those down in order. And let me get the new one. Okay, so this new one, if you lay it down by it, see, it's going to go through the same way. It's got the same little plastic thing. And then right here, the main thing you want to do is you want to adjust these screws to where they're exactly in the same spot as the old one. So I'm moving that up to where it's right there. Back on here. So feed this through. Let's see. Yeah, it went this way. Get that little thing through there too. So this bracket goes here, and the bolts actually that hold this to the firewall, y'all, go through this bracket too. So this bracket, the gasket, and everything goes first. And as you can see, that snaps on there. Like, well, it's kind of hard to do it down here. I don't know if you are following this. Got these like little, there it goes. So now it's got, comes off easy. Anyway, when I get that up on that firewall, I'll be able to push that back on like that and put the screws through it, and it'll go that way. Now this goes, the gas pedal goes in here. This actually, just so y'all know, this part of the bracket, can you see it, Connor? Is for the hand throttle control, which goes between this little square hole here and this, and then your dash. And that's how that works. But this goes right here on here, and then this is going to snap into here with those little tabs with this thing out like that. Okay? So now there's that. Ready to go. And the other thing I was going to check is the pivot right here. This seems to be loose, but I don't feel any binding on it. So I don't think this is the part, this part of the gas pedal is. And hey, just so y'all know, this whole gas pedal mechanism, without this rubber piece, but this, the pivot, this, everything, is $55 brand new OEM at the Toyota house, because I was looking to see if I need to replace this joint right here, if it was not working right, if it had a hang in it, but it feels real smooth, so I'm not going to replace it. So now I'm going to go back under the dash with all this in my hand, and I'm going to hand this through the hole to my helper, and they're going to pull this back straight out. Just go straight out with it. So we may not be able to film this, or we may be able to. Get in here. Right there. Man, this is gonna be like a little puzzle in here put together up underneath the dash. But I think that's what's gonna do it. So now we'll put those two screws back in. And then we'll hook this underneath all our little brackets. One of them's here, it goes all the way around, and we'll hook it right back into the throttle plate here. And that'll be it. So give me about 5 minutes to do that and we'll be done. Hardest part is getting these screws back up in here with that bracket and everything. Actually is the hardest part of this job. And you have to have a light in here, which I'm having a hard time keeping up in this hole while I get in here with my shoulders. And obviously doing all of this and keeping that gasket straight on the back of that, on the back of the, and I've heard people on mud say that the hardest part was putting this in here because you're kind of contorted in here in a crazy way. You gotta keep your tools. This is another little thing I got. It's a little knurled knob that fits on your sockets, and you can get up in there and turn things with your hand. So I kind of like this, although I think I'm gonna go with a little bit shorter extension so I can get right up on it and push on it at the same time that I'm turning. I think I got the top one to thread. Let's see if I can get that bottom one. And then you can actually hook your ratchet in the back of this little knob while you still got it on the nut, and start turning it down. That little gasket on the back of that thing keeps this waterproof, because as you go through those deep water crossings that you want to do with your Land Cruiser, water could start coming in any of these holes. And one thing I see here that's going to have to be another project is my gasket around my steering bar as it goes out is also broken, ripped. It's just kind of like a round gasket around that thing that flexes, and over time it gets to where that's not going to work, you know. So now I'm putting the screws back in my gas pedal. So here's a rig when you put the ratchet on the back of it. Alright, looking good. Alright, now all the slack that's in here, I'll pull out there to get it hooked back to the carburetor throttle plate. So let's move out there. Alright, here we are. It's not dark yet, but I thought I'd bring my light. So you see, I've got this. Turn around my viewfinder so I can see what I'm showing you guys. I've got this cable. This is it right here. I went underneath this little gas pressure. That's the thing we replaced for the tank. Remember, it was putting pressure on it? Got a video on that. This one's gonna hook here. Let's start back there, right by the firewall though, because that's where I ended. I'm reversing my procedure. So if you look back here, you can see a little, let's see. You can see that little red stripe? That's the, I know it's hard to see. Let me grab my light, see if I can light it up for you. So there's the cable, and under here you can see it going into the firewall right there. And it's got that little red stripe on it, and you can see the screws right above it. That's one of the screws I put in the thing to hold it. So it's coming through. The next thing that it has to hook under is actually on the bottom of this, the bracket. You can see it's a silver bracket. You can see, sorry for all the banging, but you see this has to go underneath down here, and that little screw, like I always said, every time there's a screw, it's going to hook to a bracket. So I don't know if I can do this, y'all, holding the camera. So it's that bracket right there is the one I'm going to do, and then I'm going to be moving up to another one, but let me do that one real quick and I'll get right back to you. Alright, so now I got that bracket down there, and this is probably the most, you know, kind of stressed it puts on the cable actually, is it's trying to go around this motor, and it pulls down real hard first, then it comes back up to catch this bracket that's around your brake manifold right here, and then it comes up to catch this bracket. Going around over here, we're gonna now go to this one. See how that's in there? That gets that. Then it goes, before I hook in that last one right there, let me get a little tripod so y'all can see this better, is get this cable into my throttle butterfly clip right there. Then I'm pulling this back, and I'm gonna lastly I'm gonna tighten this down like this with my wrench. So I'm right back where I was, and I just gotta tighten it up with the wrench and we'll be done. So I don't want to do it too tight. And then that goes in there. I was wondering if that goes on that side. Like that. Yeah, that's the side it goes on. That's a little firmer. Like that. Let's see where our idle's at. That's the next thing we need to check. I'm going to start her up. Feels good in here. faster than it was, but that might be because my old cable had a little stretch in it. So I might have to loosen this off just a little bit. I'm gonna push towards the idle position on that butterfly plate and see what happens. Nah, didn't make a difference really. So that little bit of extra slack I'm pulling isn't affecting it. What's going on is the computer's telling this is cold, it's been sitting here all weekend. The computer's telling it to run this fast, so there's a throttle position sensor in here, and here's the cruise control, but right now it's doing it with probably vacuum. I don't know how it does. I don't know how it increases the throttle. Slowing down now. But again, moving that plate doesn't help anything, so I think we're good. I kind of pushed the throttle with my hand just to see what it felt like. It seemed to feel smooth. I didn't feel any catches on it, but now I'm going to go do it with my foot. And I'll put you over here where y'all can see that throttle plate. All right. I like it. It looks a lot better. And in here on the engine bay, you see this cable going along here. I probably got a before shot we can compare, but that cable looks nice and new. Going through all the hoops, coming around over there. So we'll see if that feels better on the road and running around doing everything I normally do. We'll see how that feels. So for now, that's it. I got that cable installed in there, and this is Clay with Texas Know How. Y'all take care.